Let's talk about toxic family events. You know, that event that you've looked forward to for maybe days or weeks or months. Could be a wedding, it could be Easter, it could be Christmas. And there is one member of this family, this group of relations. It might be your partner, it might be someone else's, it might be a parent. But there's one toxic individual that goes about to become and remain the centre of everyone's attention, because that's what behavioural narcissism is all about, holding the centre ground, being right all the time. So whoever they are, they'll be claiming the centre of attention, like I've said, or at least making life hell for everybody else if they cannot claim that centre. I have known this sort of individual try to upstage a bride at her wedding day. It's just mind-blowing sometimes. Now, it may be that they hold the centre ground with stories or conversations, sometimes being provocative or just plain rude, but it gathers the attention around them. I heard a story some years back now about a guy that played the accordion, and he was the most toxic person one of the few people I've ever heard about that I thought I really didn't want to meet him. And he used to claim the centre of attention by playing the accordion at every family or relationship gathering. And he'd intersperse this wonderful accordion playing with stories, not necessarily jokes, but stories of things that happened to him. And I heard on one occasion that he even screamed at someone, "Shut up, I'm talking," in the middle of a story when someone deemed to talk to the person sitting next to them. Those are the sorts of people I'm talking about. They may not be as toxic as that, but they are certainly out to become the centre of attention. So, lots of people will tell you to protect yourself, you will set strict boundaries. Good luck with that. If you can't set boundaries with this person at other times, when it's a special occasion, when it's a gathering where their audience might be huge, certainly bigger than the one-to-one they would normally have, they may even refuse to go to the event unless certain terms are met. They'll use phrases like, "I never liked that person and you told me you didn't like them," or "that person doesn't like me, they're always nasty to me," and that nastiness will be that they can't be bothered with them. Remember, they switch to victim so very quickly and easily, in and out of it, always to get the adoration and compliance of those around them. Perhaps here we could say you should prioritise your safety. Skipping events is a valid thing to do if you're likely to be abused at them. But I am not of that thought. Because if that thought gives the behavioural narcissist, a victory to use against you forever, you can hear it, can't you? Somewhere down in the future, you're having a discussion and they'll go, "But you didn't want to go there, so why do we go here? I don't want to do that, and you had that choice," and then it's forever taken away from you. So manipulation using your own feelings of safety, that's a really low trick, but it could happen. It happens regularly, I am assured. So you should go to the event, and here are some ways to make it a little better. Firstly, get them there. Then try to manage the interactions. I dislike the term, but try to use what my colleagues might call the grey rock method. I don't like that term at all because it implies one lump, and really what you're looking for is consistency over time, and that doesn't describe it for me. What I'm talking about is play down the interaction. Be as non-reactive as you dare. Give short answers, avoid eye contact, and do not engage in any emotional conversation. It will be bait to get a response from you. And then they attack the response. I call those little hand grenades. And when they blow up, they're in. They're into your foxhole. So remember, do not wrestle. Remember the whole phrase? I've said it before. Do not wrestle with a pig. You'll get dirty and the pig will love it. If you need, take the conversation in another direction with phrases like, let's talk about something else. Keep it light and general. Or even mention the weather, or what someone's wearing. Oh, doesn't so-and-so's suit look so nice? Even what food you might be getting at the event. Talk about something that changes, just pushes them off balance for a moment. Remember, looking after yourself in these circumstances will help other people at the event. If you need to go, if you need a break, go to the restroom. We call it the loo or the toilet in the UK. Restroom is a very American saying, but I wrote it for some reason. And give yourself a breather and get there. Most of all, limit the time you spend one-to-one with the toxic individual. I'm sure you know that the top athletes in sports people help themselves to perform on an event with a visual rehearsal. The downhill skier will stand at the top of the mountain and visualize every gate or whatever it is they go through. All sportsmen that are successful tend to do this sort of thing. They go over the task in their mind first. It makes the job so much easier and they get better at it. So why not you do the same? You know this toxic person, this lovely behavioural narcissist. So visualize one or two stories and prepare your responses. It will help you stay calm when it happens. But if you're so stressed to have to engage in some form of relaxation, don't quit. Don't pull out. Instead, get plenty of practice. Make relaxation part of your life. You could benefit from being calmer all the time. I'm sure we all could. One thing I often say is to remove yourself from the scene. If your toxic one is raging, let them rage alone. Now they may well be, unlike other people or normal people, they might be able to argue all by themselves in a locked room. I've actually known people like that. But you don't have to be there to experience that sort of toxicity. So at the event, give yourself some distance. Go to another room, go help in the kitchen, or as I already suggested, go to the restroom. Another big step for you to take is what I call I statements. Everybody calls I statements. If you tell someone what they're doing is wrong, they will probably respond with more of the same, or at least increase the volume of it. If you tell them what their behaviour makes you feel, there is not a response except perhaps to repeat the same, at which point you do that too. Repeat the I message. Let me give you an example or two. An I message is a very simple structure. It has 3 parts, sometimes 4, but we'll deal with that as we get along. So, the 3 parts. The first is to express the emotion. Sad, frustrated, overwhelmed. I feel when you do this, it makes me, because the impact on me is this. So sometimes it's worth another form of appeal. Okay, for example, you could say, you never help me clean up after we've eaten. But better to say, I feel overwhelmed and fed up when you leave me to clean up after every meal. I spend so much of my time just cleaning up. Now the possible fourth is, please help me so that we can finish the clean-up quicker together. What's the argument to that? They'll repeat something and then you just repeat that again. I feel overwhelmed and fed up when you leave me to clean up after every meal. You're telling them how you feel. I message, not them. You're not discussing their behaviour. You're telling them what their behaviour makes you feel like. So practice in your own head. Get the format right. Focus on your feelings. Be specific, the exact action that harms you. 3, be objective about what this behaviour makes you feel. And the 4th possible statement, please do this instead. That final statement is not always necessary. You must judge whether you need it or not. So, to sum up, you definitely go to the event. You visualize how you're going to respond. Practice. If they are acting the usual manipulative way, holding court, then change the subject if possible. If not, remove yourself, the restroom, the kitchen, or even the car for a short while. Finally, the use of an iMessage or 2 will help. So, hopefully these few ideas will help you get through that family event a little less stressed and a little less damaged. Thank you for listening. Stay safe and well.